There, Gary Turner here, just arrived at our venue. 3 weeks today, 7th of September, will be the start of the human development space, a space that invites you, whether you're a coach, whether you're a senior leader, whether you're a team member, whether you're someone that leads other human beings, maybe you're a solopreneur, maybe you're someone like me that works in a corporate space that really believes in being better myself, but also helping bring better to my organisation. That's what this co-creative space is all about. Over 2 days, 7th and 8th of September 2021. This is where the goodness is going to take place. That's Heffington House behind me. We've got that space to ourselves over these 2 days, or mostly to ourselves. You'll have people from the Jim Croning Memorial Fund busying around. Monkey World is just over the road. And we've got acres and acres of outside space, and also this incredible, beautiful country home to explore together as we look to bring our ideas, our gifts, our challenges together into this incredible space in the Dorset countryside. So drop me a note, let me know if this could be interesting for you to join us. You will be part of the agenda. You will help co-create what happens over these 2 days. There's options to buy day tickets for both the 7th and the 8th of September, or you can join us for the full 48 hours. And really looking forward to seeing you. Any questions, do drop me a note. Hi there. Welcome to the Right Here, Right Now live show. This show has one simple question. What's on your heart and mind right here, right now in this moment? We explore the depths and breadths of our humanity through that one simple question over the course of 30 to 45 minutes. I hope that you'll join us. I hope you'll enjoy the exploration. And this tune was created for me personally by the incredible Peter Griffiths, one half of the amazing Mind Takeaway. Do let us know what you think. Let us know what you take away. And of course, we always welcome challenges too. Hope to see you on the exploration. Oh my goodness, it's Heather Hanson-Wickman. How are you?
I am good, Gary. It's so fun to be here.
Oh, thank you for joining me. Like, do you like my mock production?
I love it. And the music's fantastic. Like, I love that you had it made especially just for you. That's perfect.
Oh, it's quite fun though. Pete's quite a talented musician. So how are you? Before we get going today, how is Heather today?
Heather's good. It's Friday. It's a beautiful day here in Colorado, and I really can't complain. How are you?
I am like ridiculously excited because I've just been watching you on this journey over the last few years, and knowing that your new book's come out is like proper exciting. But anyway, I don't want to steal your thunder. I first of all want to say hello to Tara. Tara is an amazing human being, your side of the pond, who is just awesome. You two need to know each other because you're both awesome. Simple.
And I love it. Not the HR lady.
She's not the
Perfect.
HR lady. Yeah, I thought you'd appreciate that. So yeah, I'm really, really good. Like I say, I'm really excited to hear what's on your heart and mind as we explore today. So let's get into it, Heather. People will learn a bit more about you and your work as we journey the next 30 minutes or so. So let me ask you, what is on your heart and mind this early morning Colorado time?
Mm. Watching your intro, the thing that's top of mind right now is I wish I was a neighbor to you and we could go to the retreat together, because that just sounds like the most beautiful thing ever. 2 days to just drop into whatever might emerge feels like just super soulful. So I'll get that out of the way. But it actually like really ties into what's on my heart and mind. I dropped in just for like 5 minutes before we jumped on here. I'm like, okay, where am I today? And what do I really care about today? And two things popped up. And they're two things that you and I continually connect on. And the first one is how do we continually do the work? And by the work, it's, some people call it the soft stuff, but it's really the hardest stuff that we need to master. So how do we continue to work on ourselves, uncovering our blind spots, our limiting assumptions? And how do you do that in a way that you can also incorporate some play? And I think that's my mood here on this Friday, as I've kind of had maybe a beautiful week, but there were some big challenges in the week. And so I'm reflecting, like, how do you incorporate more play and more community in the course of doing really important work, with yourself and with your tribe and with your clients and your community and all of those kind of things. So I'll stop there. That's kind of what's on my mind this morning.
That's a pretty cool start to the last day of the week, to be honest. Quite a nice space to be in.
It's not bad, yeah.
I just want to say hello to Elise. She's very kindly joining us from South Africa. Said hello to yourself, Heather, and I. So hi, Elise.
Hello, hello.
So when you're thinking about, like I say, we've had these sort of conversations before, but I'm really curious about why is that on your heart and mind? Is there something behind that in terms of that, want to incorporate more play into community, etc.? Is there something underpinning that? What's the sort of root cause that's underpinning that thought process right now, do you think?
Yeah. Let's see. There is certainly this underpinning in terms of, I think we can take life and our work so seriously at times. And myself, I'll speak for myself, I can get really deep into the spaces that I'm working. So whether it is a limiting belief, or it's a trigger, or it's a challenge, or it's a roadblock, and I forget to come up for air and have a little fun and laugh and remember that, it's important work, but yet this is a really short life. Why not have some fun in it? And I actually think that if we can learn to play in the midst of doing the work, I think the work actually gets much more fun. And I think it actually accelerates the process. And I'm not good at it. Like, I am not the expert in that space whatsoever. But as I also heard your intro, I was like, I'm really curious how you might incorporate some play into that retreat. As adults, we don't play really well anymore. And I'm curious about how we can incorporate more of that and experiment with more of that as a way to accelerate the work that we're doing.
Thank you for sharing that. So I'm really curious now. You've got me going. I love the fact that you spoke about play. And I think if I put myself in a corporate space, for example, or maybe I'm a busy startup owner or somebody, play might be the last thing in my mind. I'm also thinking that's what my kids do, right? Play. I don't do play. But then you use the word experimentation, which for me is another way of manifesting play.
Yeah.
So we're not just talking about sitting there with toy soldiers, are we? When we're
right.
talking about
No. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. How can you build in the spontaneous? How can you build in the small tests of pushing yourself outside your comfort zone in a really light and kind of space of levity, versus it being like this struggle and this hard kind of push to get through? That I do some work with horses, and there are beautiful places that I can incorporate more play, because horses are actually really playful beings. And clients, I think, get in the space of working with a horse, and all of a sudden it's like really sobering. Like, and then you get them to lighten up a little bit, and the horse is playing with that person in a much different way. So I think they also teach us how to lighten up a little bit and have some fun with the work that we're doing.
No, I'm laughing at myself inside as you're describing this. One, because, as you know, I've had that equine experience, which blew my mind.
Yeah.
But secondly, because I am also, I've realized literally in the last 7 days, in fact, the last 4 days, that one of my values that means more to me than anything is playfulness. And I've never, ever known it. I've never acknowledged it. I've always been like, it's connection. It's all about growth, but I've never had playfulness in there. And there's a lot of stuff that's emerged for me in the last few days. It's just been, Gary, you've almost been innocently stamping on play.
Yeah.
For whatever story you're telling yourself, you've been like, no, don't speak about that as a value, because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like, something's happened today and it's just gone bang, it's out there.
It is. And so tell me, how does playfulness show up for you?
So for me, it is that experimentation piece.
Okay.
Definitely. So I look at it through, I said, I do run a lot of little experiments. Having conversations like this, what are we doing right now if it's not an experiment? We've got no idea what each other's going to say. We've got no control over the outcome. Like, this is a brilliant example of practicing that vulnerability and experimentation muscle, what we're doing now.
Right.
So this is another example. But to give something to someone else that might be watching us now or watch this back, it's the other thing for me about play is this. Look how much we're laughing with each other.
Yeah.
Like, that is what I do not do in my day job that much, or enough generally, if I'm honest, is just laughter.
Yeah. And I think that's a really important point. So I'm curious also how community adds into this little trifecta. So if I think about, the importance where I come from is to continue to navigate the places in which you can grow. So being on your growth edge, having some playfulness, but then where does your community, your tribe, your people, your support team come in to help and remind you to play? And I'll tell you the deeper thing that's happening in that space as these come together. We're in the midst of a move. So Colby and I, my husband, we are we're going to sell our little place here, and we don't know where we're going to go. Wow. And that's kind of a beautiful thing, and it's a terrifying thing, but I'm drawn to community in a different way. And I think part of that community is also being around like-minded people where you can do these things more often, have these spontaneous conversations, kind of dive into places that you had no idea, spaces to kind of live and learn together. And so I think community is a huge part. Those gatherings like you're doing in September are a huge part of cultivating this play element that I don't have a lot of great practice with.
My God, there's just so many things popping up. First of all, please tell us a bit more about the move. So what is the objective of the move? What is you're going into the unknown, but what's the hopeful outcome of the move? Should it all go well and ideally?
Yeah. So just as a little background, we don't have kids, so we have the ability to move a little bit with more ease. We've got 2 furry kids, 2 dogs. But I need to give you a little bit of the backstory. So do you ever have the feeling like when a cycle naturally ends, like you kind of move through this journey and then you're like, oh, something hits you and you're like, it's kind of done. Like, I think I got what I needed and it's time to continue. And that's what it feels like for where we're at. We rebuilt this home. And so it was in really tough shape and we lovingly brought it back to life. And now it's like your cycle is done. You're complete. So the hope is that we can pass this home on to someone else who, really will love it and continue to cherish it. And hopefully it's here for the next 100 years. And for us, there is this new chapter opening for both my husband and I that we don't know what it looks like. We just know that this cycle has ended. And we jokingly refer to it like we're going to take the leap. We have no idea where it's going to go. But our hope is that we have a little more space. And so as you were showing the scan of the property that you're going to be at with the woods and the lawns and the acreage, those are the places that feed us, like really fuel our souls. And so that's kind of the hope and the intent for us to be able to find that space, not only for ourselves, but to bring our clients into as well. So that's the hope. And, it's kind of crazy. We're going to take the leap and see what happens. So
cool. So honestly, my whole upper body is just going like, bzzz, just reacting to everything you're saying. It's amazing because if I summarize so far what I've heard is like the importance of play, the importance of community, but also the importance of sort of trusting yourself as well. You and your husband, your partner. So was it husband or partner? Sorry.
Yes. Both.
Yeah, both. Okay, it's fine. I would like to address it correctly.
Yes.
Hello, Kobe.
Exactly.
So what I'm finding really interesting, and this has been part of my journey the last few years, which I know you're aware of, is that when we get that feeling in our body, when that body speaks to us, do we actually allow ourselves to feel that and have a conversation about what that's telling us?
Yeah.
Or do we just suppress it?
Yeah.
And what I love what you're both doing is going, no, our body's told us something. It's the cycle has told us now is the time. And you're trusting your bodies almost more than your head is what it is.
Oh, Yeah. Isn't that the hardest lesson ever? Like, to reconnect with your body and really trust the body's wisdom over the because all the fear resides in my head, at least the fear, the doubt, the worry that says, why would you ever like give up all the comforts and security of your house to jump into something that you have no idea what it's going to look like? But you're right, your body just says, that's what you should do. And your mind says, no, 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 you're crazy. But I trust the body a little bit more today than I did even a year ago.
That's right. So this, you've just been like brilliant. Because I'm sitting here going, I really do want you to tell us about the updated edition of your book, The Evolved Executive. That would be wonderful for the listeners, again, if they're watching live or watch us back, to hear a bit more about the book itself. But I can't let that go, Heather. You just made a statement. You trust yourself even more than a year ago.
Yeah.
So what do you think shifted even for you in the last 12 months?
Oh, Gary, you ask good questions. That's what I love about you. This is where the vulnerability starts, right? The last 12 months have been incredibly enlightening and kind of brutal all at the same time. So I did finally get the book, the second edition, complete. But what most people don't know is I had to redo it twice. So the first edition was much more seamless. Like I had a good sense of what it needed to be. And at the end of the first edition, I was really excited, and it's done, it's out in the world. And then I got this nagging feeling like it's not done yet. And I resisted that feeling wholeheartedly, like, no way, no, 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 no. I just got it done. There's no way I'm going to dive into that again. And I fought it for a while, and until I didn't, I guess, until I kind of surrendered and said, all right, I'm going to dive in, because it became really clear the pieces that I needed to reincorporate into the book. But the last 12 months have really shown me the struggle and tension between this exact concept, between the intelligence of our mind and the intelligence of our body. And when I operate from my mind, I kind of get my butt kicked. And my mind has beautiful qualities. It's gotten me a long ways in life. And I think, that great saying that, what got you here won't get you there, is, I think, what happened in this last year. That my mind got me a long ways, but it's not going to get me to this next iteration of who I need to be and who I'm becoming. And it's more about my body's intelligence, the knowing that happens within my body that you don't hear, but you listen. It's a listening that happens within the knowing of your heart. And there's not a great way to explain it other than you hear it through your body. And I would have to say the sacred plant medicine, which is a part of the book as one of the growth hacks, has been a huge part of that, as well as my work with the horses. And so both horses are intrinsically operating from their body's intelligence because they are prey animals. So they are sensing for safety and congruency and harmony all around them, just for their livelihood. So they teach us an incredible, they offer us an invitation to reconnect with our bodies in an incredible way, if we can be open to it and listen to it. And the plant medicine is a little bit more of a stricter teacher, I would say. And that in my journeys with the plant allies, they have provided a great reflection of how my mind gets in the way and how my body is just full and ripe of knowledge that sometimes gets stuck about here. And so the last year is exactly the big challenge between the body and the mind. And today, doing a little better. It's a process. It's like, every day you work on it, continuing to reconnect to the body. And what does the body have to tell me today?
I'm just like, I can't stop grinning, because it's just like, for anyone that's watching, like, this isn't like if you're not used to this type of exploration, it's going to seem woo-woo. Like what are these two people on about? Touching heart, feeling,
I know.
plant medicine, horses.
I
But you know
know.
something? That woo-woo comment is actually in and of itself a way of just saying we don't need to go there, when actually we all sort of do.
We do. We do. It's a fascinating thing. Like, I understand that this conversation is not for everyone, and the work that I bring to the world and the work that you bring to the world is not for everyone. But also to the point of so much of what we have today isn't working. So why not experiment with something different? Why not try something different that maybe you've never explored before in the past, because you might get a different result. And that's kind of where my journey has led me.
That's so cool. And what I love is, without, again, these conversations are zero scripting, right? And you've come back and you've actually circled a beautiful real life example of experimentation, of playfulness, of actually I'm going to go and do that thing with plant medicine. I love horses, like I learn from them. Like I just think there's a really clear message coming through for me today, which is really powerful. We need to get back to nature for those lessons, which, whether it be a horse, is part of nature. We're all part of nature, but like those two examples you've shared, plant medicine and horses, are non-human examples of intelligence.
They are.
And we're so used to reading out of books, or the next philosopher, or the next business leader. And we're like, no. What about the things that nature literally is providing us, that are underneath our nose, but we just don't even see it?
Exactly. It's like those intangible things that I think have incredible gifts, as well as the books, and as well as the, incredible leadership experts and all of those kind of things. But they provide a different angle at the conversations that we're having and the insights that we're seeking, that I so appreciate, because I can, oh my gosh, I love a good book and I love those kind of things, but they've only gotten me so far. Like, I've done a lot of that in the last, since you and I have known each other. My evolution, because of the horses and the plants, has been exponential compared to probably the 10 years prior. And so there's a place for it all. And, for certain individuals, I think nature is exactly what's calling. And whatever that might be, it might just be sitting in the woods. It might be just reconnecting over a weekend around a fire. It might be, really simple things that can kind of ground you into a new space that allows for new awareness to pop in that maybe wasn't there.
It's really making me think about my own journey as well, which of course we're always on, aren't we?
Yeah.
But I think what's particularly interesting for me as I listen to you speak is it really is this end. Like we're trying to get away from this, and I've learned a lot about this the last couple of years with my regeneration colleagues, with my spiritual guide who's based in Manila. We've created a world of separation.
Yeah.
And what you're doing, really, I think brilliantly with your work, Heather, is you're helping people connect head and heart. It's not that we need both, but unless we understand that they are linked, and how do you go up and down that scale between head and heart? That's the gap, because we're just up here, aren't we, still myopically, and that's the opportunity that you're offering.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I hope it is. And it's the journey that I'm on. So it makes sense that, I'm there as a resource for others that want to be on that journey as well. And it's a journey that's, I don't know, not for the soft-willed, because I think society really encourages us to stay here, to stay in our minds. I've got several clients where, it's where I'll be like, I need you to take a deep breath right now, and tell me anything you feel below your neck. And sometimes people are just completely like, I don't feel anything. Like, I have nothing down there, because their mind is so busy. And so, having some opportunity to create that linkage to help us kind of broaden the experience and broaden the other understanding of what's happening in the moment, I think is a really great invitation.
It so is. And I want to invite anybody that's watching us live or watching back, do check out. You can see at the bottom of the screen, beuntethered.co is Heather's new site with all of this amazing, exciting stuff on. Yes. And I also want to say hello to Jenna. See, this is how the universe works, right? So Jennifer, morning, Jennifer. Start my Friday off with what looks to be a good chat. Good day all. So why I'm so like grinning with this one, Jennifer works for a company called N-Rhythm, who are a regenerative consultancy.
Oh, how perfect.
So like, you want to talk about squaring the circle of life? Like, this is
Yeah,
what's happening right now. So,
I love it. That's perfect. Mm-hmm.
oh dear. So that always happens with you and I, Heather. We're up to 25 minutes, and that means I've only got you for a few more.
Yeah.
But I'd love to, for our listeners, and also for me, to be honest, 'cause I'm just selfish. Where do you think, like, and it's a massive projection, where
Okay.
do you think we're going to be? Because we're both talking about the workplace as well. We do this individually, but we both really care about a healthier workplace environment for people.
Yeah.
That's where most people go for most of their lives. Could you imagine a time when we are truly connecting head and heart as part of regular leadership development, as part of regular organizational design?
Mm.
Can you see a nature plus a non-human plus human intentionally designed way of being, do you think, in the future? Can you sense that?
The short answer is yes. I mean, that's the reason that we're here, right? the hope and desire and glimpses into that world. And there are a handful of companies that are doing it. And so I'm super grateful for those pioneers out there that have seen the value and are willing to play and to take the experiment to see what it would look like if we operate in a different way. The in full honesty, there in the US here, I think there's a massive challenge with that because of the status quo of all the perks that come with the solely kind of head-oriented, profit-driven, command and control. Like, it has a lot of perks for those who are in those leadership roles. And so it's not I don't think it's going to be a quick evolution. And so the folks that I'm most excited to work with are probably some of these individuals that you've pointed out who've joined us, those really early adopters that are like, I also see a different way of what this could look like. And I want to create an environment for my team and my colleagues and myself that is more enlivening, that's more soulful, that's more connected. And the only way that we're going to do that is if we try some different things. And so my wish is, yes, Gary, that the work that you're doing, the work that I'm doing, the work that others are doing can help those early adopters really pave a different path. Because my heart and soul believes that actually when you do that, profit is a given, people want to be there. People want to buy what you're offering because it comes from a much different place. And so I wholeheartedly believe that that is the path of the future. And I am not so naive to know that it's going to be a challenge for a lot of people to kind of go on that path.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to answer my own question. Right?
Okay, good.
It is existentially critical that becomes the way. We won't be here in 50 years if it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like that for me, I'm going to be really bold about it because I'm, as I've learned about this regenerative practice, actually I went through an N-Rhythm design lab with my spiritual guide, and the clarity is I'm now sensing at a much deeper level around, for me to have this mobile phone in my hand isn't just a mobile phone, right? There's there's rare earth metals coming from Africa, there's plastics coming from crude oil, all of this stuff is deeply interconnected. And I think that's part of this journey as well, is that until we do connect, as you're offering brilliantly, until we connect head and heart in a really meaningful way, we're not going to be able to sense and feel this understanding that everything is truly interdependent and interconnected.
Yeah.
And once we start to experience that more, then we accelerate, I think, and this does become more common practice.
Yeah. Let's hope so. And I hope it's in our lifetime.
Yeah, we've got 50 years, hopefully.
Yes. We got 50 years if we live a good, long, healthy life. Perfect.
Would you like to leave our listeners with anything else? I've got, again, please go and check Heather out at Be Untethered. The new book Is it out yet, the new edition?
It is out. The new edition is
Yay.
out. So please check it out on Amazon. I would love to connect with anyone who's interested on LinkedIn, and feel free to check me out on the beuntethered.co. And within the next week, there's going to be a growth leader index. So an assessment that I'm actually giving out for free. That's based on a ton of research on change agility. So it'll give you a bird's eye view of how adaptable you actually are in today's world of work. If you send me a note on LinkedIn, I'll be sure to send you that link and you can get a free report. So a little gift to all of your listeners.
That's amazing. Thank you very much. And please do put the link on the bottom of the this chat on LinkedIn as well. Please do go ahead and do that. That would be amazing.
Yes.
I just want to thank you, Heather. Honestly, I remember the first time we had a conversation, and it was a lovely conversation, but where we're at now, it's just amazing. It's like we're walking in the park together. It's stunning.
It is. It is. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Likewise. And thank you everyone for joining us. We've had Tara pop along, we've had Elise and Jennifer, and I'm sure there'll be others that watch this back. And until next time, Jennifer joined. So thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Jennifer.
You two definitely do genuinely need to connect. You really should connect, genuinely.
Perfect.
So there we go. So thank you everyone for joining us. Have a great day, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world. Mostly, thank you, Heather. Good luck with your journey into your other half. I look forward to hearing more about him at some point as well.
Exactly. Thank you, Gary.
Take care, everyone. And we're going to end the broadcast now, and take very much care.